Hello everybody, and this is ISO Chad. Today, the new 35th episode of Skibidi Toilet Multiverse by Dom Studio has finally been released. And in this video, I will make a full and most detailed analysis for you. So I will find all the Easter eggs that were hidden in this episode that you could have easily missed. I'll tell you what happened and what we can expect in the next episodes, as well as answer some questions that might arise for you after watching this episode. What really happened on Skibidi Base 3? What mission did Male 09 go on? And how did the Alpha manage to come to power among the Skibidi toilets? And why did Male 07 just let her do it? Get your tea and snacks ready, guys, and prepare to watch this video to the end because it will be very interesting. Let's go! This episode begins immediately with a fight between Titan Cameraman and the elite Skibidi who attacked him. And I assumed right away at this moment that Titan Cameraman would have no chance against these Skibidi. At least because there are a lot more of them against him fighting in solo, so they can just crush him with their overcoming numbers. And that is what happened in general, as they knocked down the Titan and pounded on his camera with their heavy fists. However, Titan Cameraman, with the help of his jetpack, rose into the air and threw off several Skibidi, which immediately switched to Titan Clockman instead. However, the Metal Giga Chad was ready for such change in the course of events, and started shooting at them with his minigun. And those shots stopped time for these Skibidi that he hit. And by the way, I want to draw your attention to one curious detail in here. When one of the one-eyed Skibidi began to run away at the Titan, he was missing a piece of his head, and thanks to this we can see what is inside. And apparently it's some kind of electronic brain or something, because it looks suspiciously like some kind of microchips, from which we can conclude that these Skibidi monsters are either completely robots, who are covered with something similar to skin like Terminator, or simply Skibidi cyborgs. But I'm more inclined to the second option. Titan Clockman deals with the toilets that attacked him with the help of his huge levitating swords, but these guys are not getting fewer, because a new batch of toilets is constantly being teleported here. Well, in the end, when another crowd of one-eyed monsters attacked Titan Cameraman, one of them destroyed the Titan's jetpack, which is why he fell and at one point almost had his head bitten off. It would seem that this is already the end, but at this moment hard rock suddenly begins to play, signaling that the coolest guy of the Alliance has arrived here. And oh my god, just look at this stylish Giga Chad. As I said in my last video, he got a lot of new upgrades, as well as a new set of absolutely incredible armor for his whole body. There are huge new guns on both of his arms, most likely even more powerful than those that he had in the original version. And on his back there is also a huge axe, which is actually an electronic guitar at the same time, using which he will give his own special solo concerts. He easily deals with the first attack of Skibidi spinning around and shooting all of his enemies down, which really reminded me of episode 58 of Boom's original series. And one of the toilets seemed to be especially lucky, because the Titan grabbed him by the head and introduces even more rock into this action, which is why Skibidi gets an overdose of some pretty cool music and goes to heaven forever. And finally, in the end, he destroys the first batch of toilets with a powerful shot directly from his core. When the second wave of rock music fans appeared, the Speakerman told his friend to wait and took out his guitars from behind of his back and began playing a killer solo just for them. And just look at them at this moment, they are obviously really into stuff like this. And well, in general, it seems to me that this battle is just one giant Easter egg for the yet-to-be-released game called Death Stranding 2. Because there was a similar scene in the trailer for this game. Don't you see the resemblance too, guys? And while Titan Speakerman was playing his guitars, his bro was just standing behind and dancing while being absolutely amused. Finally, the satisfied fans ran back from where they came from to tell everyone what a cool event they all had just attended, and the Titans departed in the direction of the next episode, leaving Titan Clockman with his dome alone, who apparently intends to stand here until the end of time. So now the Pencil Men have come here to report that Titan Clockman's comrades are on their way, and I assume that he is talking about other Clockmen. He also reports that he received a very strange signal, and with the words, "I have to go somewhere," he actually leaves. And I think that this strange signal, as he put it, was sent to him by the same entity that also informed him about the last refuge of people in the second part of the 34th episode. And then we move on to the secret scene that was supposed to come out earlier, but we only got the opportunity to see it now. And in fact, we've already discussed this scene actually on my channel, so don't forget to subscribe to it and also like this video so you won't miss anything cool. So this scene continues the events of episode 12, and here Titan TV Man appears for the first time in this multiverse according to the timeline, and with the words, "This will stay confidential." He wraps the broken Titan Clockman with the vortex of his mist, apparently teleporting him to the secret base or something like that. And as I said earlier, I assume that Titan TV Man, for some unexplained reason, knows how to fix Titan Clockman, unlike those guys who tried to carry out field repairs, which in my opinion is quite strange. And I have an assumption that Titan Clockman was not assembled by the Clockman in the first place, and that is why they do not understand what to do with him. And Titan TV Man, in his turn, is familiar with those who have access to such technologies. And therefore, he reported that this will stay confidential, because no one else should know about them. Well, immediately after that, we are getting transferred to the Skibidi base, where other events were taking place at that time. I must say right away that this is also a continuation of events of the 12th episode as well, because this detail is pretty important. From the first couple of shots, we see a familiar room, which is on the Skibidi Base 3, and we already saw it in the 17th episode and even before the invasion of the Alliance, because the Pencilmen had already visited it in here. And now we know a way to defeat them, which turned out to be quite simple. They can simply be set on fire or electrocuted, and thus they will evaporate, leaving only a pencil as remains from themselves. It was for this reason that pencils were everywhere to see in episode 17. You can also see how one of the pencilmen was able to avoid the fate of getting turned into a pencil kebab, and we will return to this important detail later to understand what happened here in the end. And now I would like to draw your attention to one of the boxes on which you can see the number 47. I'm not completely sure, but maybe this is a hint at episode 47 of the original series, in which Titan TV Man encountered the G-Man toilet. This is probably a hint that we will also see him very soon. Also in this room there is Professor Kleiner, who is already familiar to us with a folder titled Skibidi Apocalypse, and the contents of this folder will then be seen by TV Woman. After a while, Skibidi Scientist is brought a folder on which a photo of a monster already familiar to us called Momo can be visible, which means that such experiments were still carried out before the appearance of the Alpha, who, by the way, this mutant Skibidi went to meet when he was informed that she had arrived. After she introduced herself, the Skibidi decided to teach her a lesson. But then she showed them with her spiked ball that she was not defenseless at all. And after that, none other than Billy Skibidi, a character from the famous film series called Saw, came to the rescue of Skibidi while saying his legendary phrase, "Do you want to play the game?" However, the Alpha was not at all impressed, and she opened a portal to her dimension with the help of the same ball, from which Counter Titan came out, which, as it turned out later, was already set and ready since the very appearance of the Alpha. He prescribed a couple of smacky slaps to this toilet, after which he pressed his head back into the toilet using his laser. And after having his job done, he throws this toilet with saws into his portal and then goes in there himself. And I think everyone can basically guess what he's going to do with him down there. After this skirmish, the long-awaited Skibidi Male 09 came out of the base, to whom the Alpha told that her master would allow them to live as slaves, but in turn destroy all their enemies. With these words, the Alpha goes further into the Skibidi base, and during that moment, Male 09 in his turn orders the security guard to inform Male 07 that he will be gone for a while. And actually, I just assumed that he was going on some kind of mission, and it looks like this guy was going to collect more information about who this mysterious master was, and maybe in the next episodes they will show us how he received this information. And finally, let's return to the pencilman who managed to escape. Do you remember how in the 17th episode we saw that some kind of devilry was going on at this base, and Momo was eating this poor scientist? I think this happened because the Skibidi missed this pencilman, and he successfully hid inside of this base, after which he opened the laboratory in which Momo was kept, and thanks to these actions, all those present on this base had passed away. Although I do not deny the fact that the Alpha may actually be to blame for this, and she decided to use it to show what tough things she is actually capable of. And also, with the help of her Titan, she was able to seize power from the Skibidi toilets, and it seems to me that Male 07 actually agreed to give her control for a while, realizing that he still does not have the strength to fight with her. And he has also probably realized that she would not last that long, which he turned out to be absolutely true in the end. Be sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and it was me, Easte Chad. See ya!